only a model. Shh.
We're knights around the table, not round the square or triangle. We come to hang and chat like a gang on Fridays as we're able. We play well here in Camelot, we are chums and fun, but Camelot. We're knights around the table, our host is formidable. He runs a strange, often insane, but sure he's quite unstable. He's hobby-mad in Camelot, but seems never to have done a lot. Quite incomprehensible, but wrenching and we have no plan but to sit and hear Dutch babble. It's a lady time in Camelot.
I have to shake my bum a lot.
This channel is a not-so-proud member of YouTube's all-encompassing special society of heavily overwhelmed layout enthusiasts. Check any railway show, check any railway club, check any layout, check your own house. You'll find one of us somewhere. Warning, the content of this stream is not suitable for children under the age of 16. The topic, language, themes, attitude, and personality of the presenter is not appropriate for anyone, much less children under the age of 16. Topics discussed will not center on trains and will focus on anything except politics. It just happens trains are running. Any similarity between characters, situations, trains, and intelligent thoughts is strictly a coincidence. Any rebroadcast or transmission of the stream without the expressed written consent of Major League Baseball is strictly prohibited. Viewer discretion is advised. Remember the 3 rules for model train layouts and pretty much anything. It's your layout, do what you want as you want. Do not tell someone else what to do unless they ask you directly what they should do. Do not call out, mock, criticize, or insult another channel on your channel or anyone else's channel. Thank you for your cooperation.
See it, you'll love it, and it's all done in the best possible way.
Every time OBS upgrades, it changes the mic setting. I don't know why. OBS upgraded right before I went on stream. Well, let's try that again. Hi, everybody on the other side of the monitor. Hope you fellow Knights of the Rhomboid table are doing well. Let's go straight into the greetings. And if you were here earlier, hopefully you're still on my screen. We have Sir Con of Wykes is here. Hello, hello. Sir Digger Evans is here. Sir George from the Florida Railroad Dog, nice to have you here. My Lord Sir Alan from Dragon Junction just popped in, nice to have you. Sir Andy the Hot Dog Pilot, great to have you. Sir Ian aus den Nederlanden, how are you doing? And his fellow countryman, Ivo van Zoon, is here. Great to have you both here, gentlemen. Sir Ivo. Sir John of Benicki, Sir Dwight of Curly, Sir Kyle of Stevens, Sir Mick the Royal Barkeeper is here, which means the bar is open. Sir Clive, saw your video today, very cool. Sir Carl Braun of Bangotcher Junction just popped in. And we have Sir Mark from the Innocent Tales of Piddlefolk. And we have Sir Chris from the Valley. And was there anybody else that came in? And then I missed. Sir Tim of Dowd was in, but hasn't typed for a few minutes. And of course, if you don't type within a couple of minutes, it drops your name off the chat list. So anyhow, wow, I have absolutely nothing new to tell you. It's been a boring week. Andy, the big news, Hot Dog Pilot Andy, I did get your first set. Your other set is due today or tomorrow. The other half of your order through me, it's the guy that that I bought it off of was out of town and only got back into town the other day, but I believe it's coming. I think it said today, but maybe it's tomorrow. I've lost track. And then I'll get that all out to you next week. So, we have all our friends at Von Don Eisenbahn. Willie and Eric and more. So great to have you here. So yeah, the only big news is that besides apparently I missed a little corner there. Is Joyce went back to work this week. She doesn't have students yet. These are teacher get ready days, work days they call them, which were originally designed for teachers to go into the rooms, get everything set up, get their papers printed, get their lesson plans ready to go, get all their bulletin boards and seating arrangements. But now the state overseers, being the schmucks that they are, basically take most of those days and fill them with professional development and in-services, where they bring a bunch of people that have nothing to do with education in and tell teachers how to do their job. So imagine if you were a plumber and they bring in a phone operator to tell you how to do your job. Because that's how they think it should work. Hey, Sir Andy from Warwick Road is here, and Sir Tom Couples is here. Yeah, the other thing is we did put up a new, I put up a new song. I say we because usually it's me and Joyce, but Joyce had nothing to do with this one other than to tell me she didn't want to do it last Friday, because that was the weird thing. As you know, last Friday, Joyce and I went out of town for the weekend, just a last summer hurrah, get out of town. The rule was off the grid. No internet, no YouTube, no Facebook, responding to text messages from our kids, family, but that was it. Get away from it all. And we were staying out in the middle of nowhere in West Central Ohio. And hey, Dino from Sir Dino from the Model Railway Shed, Dino, my fellow knights of the Rhomboid Table. But so we did that. But during our live stream last Friday, Joyce came down and started joking a bit, and all of a sudden the song House of the Rising Sun got in my head, and I started jokingly singing it, and then I made a little model train lyric to it. And if you were here, you saw the debate where Joyce was like, I'm not singing that. She said, are you making a song? Yeah, that's not mine. And I just was doing a joke voice. She said, when you do your joke voice, it actually kind of works. So that was the one thing we did while we were on the road. I'm driving the 2-3 hours we are going. And in my brain, I'm writing the song. I'm just taking lines and coming up with, and I've got no pen, no paper, and I'm driving. And I don't really want to tell Joyce that I'm working on the song. But when we got to the hotel room, I did grab out my computer. When we got done with everything we did that night, before we went to bed, I grabbed my computer because I did take my laptop and just went and typed out most of the lyrics. And then we stayed Friday night and Saturday night. So Saturday night, again, I just and had it where I thought I was content with the lyrics. And then when we came back home Sunday night, I tweaked it, recorded it, put the video together, and put it out. I think it was Monday we put it out. All right, EFO, but I appreciate that. I don't know if Eric Burden would be proud, but, actually, my 3 versions were all fairly equal, but when I listened to how I was singing on the Friday stream, that was better than anything I posted. Sometimes I'm better off doing it earlier in the day. Late in the evening, my voice gets a little... When I wake up, my voice is like this. And then by the time I go to bed, I'm like this. My voice just gets higher as the day goes on. But anyhow, I was climbing around. There is a house in New Orleans. Hey, there's Stormy Sky Dave. Hi there, Sir Dave. Welcome in. But yeah, so the video's there. It did not get a lot of watches. Got a few likes, but didn't get a lot of views. Oh, well. Hey, did I see Anthony from Choberton Junction is here? Welcome in, Sir Anthony. Crushed nut syndrome. Gee, I don't think I'd put it that way, but hey. So, anyhow, that's been it. The biggest thing is now that Joyce is back to work, it's weird because it was not the... I don't want to say it was a bad summer. It just wasn't the best summer. It was a summer interruptus, we'll call it. We went to Australia, and then we have our summer plans, our summer routine. We're going to go to this place and this place. We were going to go to Niagara Falls, and we had to cancel it because other things happened. I got the jury duty and was off for a week. That threw our plans back a week. And then when we started getting into our routine, Joyce fell and got hurt playing tennis. And it took her, 3 weeks to 3.5 weeks before she was feeling okay again to get back to walking and riding a bike. And then playing tennis. And then my kids had car emergencies and we loaned them a car. And then my car, my Charger, had to have all the brakes redone because there was something wrong with it. And I let it go, and I'm mad at myself. But it was a little wobble. I thought, well, could be a few things. But the wobble was the brakes were going, and they wound up having to replace all the rotors and calipers and brakes. So that was a hefty fortune. And that just said, well, we're not doing Niagara Falls and blah, blah, blah. We wound up getting new garage doors put in. So my garage has been completely redone. Garage, driveway, new doors. Anyhow. So the thing is, Joyce going back, officially yesterday was her first day. But she goes in like all teachers do several days before you have to go back. But she just felt like the summer didn't happen for her, and that's tough. That's tough. Her break in between school years just was very hard on her and disappointing for her because a lot of things she wanted to do this summer we didn't do, and we didn't do other things as often like play tennis, go for walks, go kayaking. So yeah, it was just a little rough on her. Okay. So anyhow, let's look at the trains I'm running today, get some trains running, then we'll talk about what's going on. Speaking of Joyce, she'll be on later today. She is working, and then she has an appointment right after school. But let's go see what trains I'm running, and I'll wait for the... Come on, where are you? There you are. So the trains I'm running today, I've got the Austrian Railjet right in front of you with that Taurus E64 electrical locomotive there. I've got the ICE 3. Then I got a Class 101 DeutscheBahn pulling a Regio, an Express Regio. And then I'm running a couple of steamers today. I'm running the BR50 again. And that is pulling the... that's going to be pulling the... Era 3-4 German express passenger coaches. And then I've got the Prussian, the P8 back there, but I'm just having it pull a small beer wagon today. I know EFO wants me to get out in the front. I'll be doing that soon. But today I just wanted to run a beer and I decided to do it with a steamer, and so that was the steamer I chose. Then way in the back I've got a Class 648. So a little bit of modern, a little bit of older days steamers, a little bit of high speed, and a little bit of freight and regional. Okay, so let's get these guys into motion, and then we'll talk about whatever comes up. Oh, is that wire working loose? I wonder why he's acting up. Uh-oh. My IC3 is acting up. Well, I'm not going to risk it. I'll just leave it off for now. That's not good. He wasn't acting up when I tested him out earlier. It's my luck anymore. Because he is doing something weird and I can't figure out unless it's something with the track. Hey, Sir Raymond, how are you? JD from Grandpa Rails, how are you? Let's get these other guys in motion. Hey, Sir Andy F. Dobson, how are you? Oh, that sounds interesting, EFO. See one of these up there again. And Sir Martin from Hereford, nice to have you. Welcome in. I think I said hi to Sir Ian from Model Eisenbahn. And Sir Randall of Ellison, how are you, sir? Hope you're well. And again, I always want to take some time and say hello to all the people that watch later. That's actually one of the bigger things that happened this week. My grandson Kyan started preschool. Now, in the UK and in Germany, preschool might be a little different. Preschool is just a little bit more regulated daycare. It's got some instruction level. But the best thing for my grandson Kyan is that it's socialization. He's finally, for 4.5 hours a day, he is with kids his own age. For the first time in his life, he's got daily kids his own age around him. And we were worried to various levels of how was he going to adjust, because he just is never around kids. Every now and then, if we go to the park or his mom and dad take him to the park. He might meet some kids, but it's never consistent. There are just no kids his age. He's an only child. He doesn't even have cousins his age around him. He's around adults all day. No, the cats have not been banned from the train room, Efo. Unfortunately, their necessities room is back there, so I can't block them from the train room because that's where they have to do their little bits of business. Although, that was another little expense last week. Our one cat's been acting very strange, and took it to the vet, and so we got to start doing even more expensive special diet food. Find out why her intestines aren't working properly. Evo, I would almost agree with you, but I think the number one thing learned at preschool was defending your space before you could eat. And in fact, that's funny because yesterday when I picked Kyan up from preschool, there were two boys, you know, not fist fighting, but using their butts they were both on half of a chair trying to knock the other one off the other half because that's where they wanted to sit for lunch. But and the thing is, and we were also worried that Kyan would get in there and he's so used to mom being around or Opa being around that, he's going to have these people there. And you know, there might be that little bit, I want my mom, I want to go home, sort of thing. No, he's taken right to it. And the nice thing is, it is half a day. He's there from like 8 to 12:30. So, he knows mom or Opa are going to come and pick him up each day. To be honest, John Benicki, because the way insurance works, I would say vets are much more expensive because there aren't insurances. So vets charge you less, like x-rays for a cat are, if you didn't have insurance and had to pay for x-rays yourself, the x-rays for your pets are cheaper than the x-rays for a human. Unfortunately, there isn't insurance, so unless you actually go out and get an animal policy, health policy for your cat or dog. Yeah, her blood work and x-rays came to about $460 some, where the x-rays I had 2 weeks ago with insurance were $40. Sadly, Andy Hot Dog Pilot, that is one of the little things is that when you have a true bout with the pandemic, there are various lingering side effects that can stay for a long time. When I got it and Joyce got it, which canceled our trip to Getz last year, I had various little side effects that have only in the last month or so started disappearing. And then Joyce, of course, had it a second time right after we got back from Australia, I think it was. Clive, that is unfortunately me. When a doctor tells me it's going to cost this much, and this much to fix your, to make your cat healthier, my brain goes, it'd be cheaper to put him to sleep. The problem is, I've been talking to my friend Jean about this in private chats, but in America, at least this part of America, vets will not put a healthy or non-fatally ill animal to death. And even the shelters, if you pay them a lot of money, some of the animal shelters will do it, but they put you on a list that gets distributed to all the pet sellers and animal rescue places, and you go in to buy another dog or cat, and you're blacklisted. If the animal is healthy and you pay one of these shelters to put it down, you're blacklisted from buying another pet. If it's got a terminal illness, like our dog Storm did, that we had Storm for 15 years. Well, 14 years. She was 15 years old when she died. We had her for about 14 and a half years. That was okay. Storm had a terminal illness. She was in great pain. She couldn't move. The last couple of days of her life, she was laying in the living room, peeing on herself and crapping on herself because she couldn't get up. So we finally took her to the vets, and they said there's nothing we can do, and we paid a fee, and the vet put her down. But we don't get blacklisted for that. Because I would like to find, my wife has talked about, we'd like to see if there'd be a farmer that would willing to take take these two cats as barn cats, because even Joyce now wants to get rid of them, but we have no recourse. Joyce's attitude is just open them and make them outdoor cats, but I won't do that because I already got 2 feral cats that live on my property, and I don't want to add 2 more idiots to it. Yeah, it was tough. I mean, my kids spent their late childhood through high school and even into college for my older ones with the same dog and the same cat. We had Sabina for 18 years, and we had Storm for almost 15 years. So we got Sabina in 2001, and we got Storm in 2003, and then Storm died we got Storm in early 2003, and she died in late 2017, and she was just over a year old when we got her. She was a mutt, a mixed breed. And $95. I had to pay $200 to have because Sabina then died, and Sabina was also terminal, and Sabina was in complete renal shutdown, and she was in miserable shape, and the vet, we took her to the vet, and the vet said, I have to schedule it, but why don't you bring her back in a few days and we'll put her down, because she was just in such bad shape. So we had to put Sabina down, but about a year after Storm. Sabina was 2 years old when we got her. So she was 20 when she passed. Hey, Tammy and Ray, welcome in. Fellow Knights of the Round Boyd table. You know, nowadays, because of so many things, especially with certain true breeds, you're lucky if you get 10 years out of fairly like golden retrievers and Labradors. You get 10 years out of them, you're lucky. Even German Shepherds, which used to be fairly long-lived dogs, German Shepherds could go 15 years, 15, 16 years, even more. Now, most of your big breed dogs, if you get 8 to 10 out of them, you've done well, because they have so many congenital degenerative illnesses, especially in the hips. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot the floor trades. Yes, I did. Speaking of floor trades, I hope the UK fans will not yell at me, but I'm running LMS cars behind the Mallard. Sorry, it just... Yeah, I'm going to have to see if that wire is working its way loose again on that. I'm going to give it a couple loops, see if it... And which Christopher is here? Yeah. I'll mess with it after the show. Hello to... Aha, that's right. I'm looking for Christopher's hobby blog. Hello, Sir Christopher. Welcome back to Sakura Densha. Well, like I said, Storm lived, to be honest, usually the best dog to get is a mutt, rather than even try to get a pure breed. Mutts, they tend to be more, they tend to be friendlier, more even-tempered, and they tend to live a bit longer. We've always owned mutts. The last time I had a pure breed, my mom used to have purebred beagles when I was a kid. And I do love beagles. Beagles are my favorite dog. Yeah, the freight's running well. Unfortunately, my IC3 is acting up. I'm going to have to see if that silly wire I have had fixed 3 times has come undone again. Yeah, because the problem with purebreds is they've been so inbred in most cases. But again, Beagles tend to give you about 10 to 12 years, but that's because if you use them as hunting dogs or wide field dogs, they run and they run and they run, and they age their bodies out. You know, it's not like humans where the more we work and the more we run, the healthier we are. Hunting dogs, the more you use them, they're sort of a bank of time they have. Well, hello, Sir Sean. Welcome in. All right, Sir John, take care. German Shepherds are my other favorite. When I was a wee little lad, we had a German Shepherd that my dad owned for years, and then we moved into a house that no pets were allowed, and we had to give her up. Her name was Susie. It was a German Shepherd named Susie, and my dad had a friend at the Lucas County Sheriff's Office, and he gave Susie to them. And every now and then we'd go visit Susie. And then gradually over time, he retired from police force. But Susie lived to the age of 21 and retired as the mascot for the sheriff's office, particular office they had in Sylvania Township. But Susie died at the age of 20 as a German Shepherd, because they had a big write-up about her in the newspaper. Now, so Beagles, German Shepherds, and then my third favorite type of dog are Wire Fox Terriers. I do love Wire Fox Terriers as well. And so yeah, it's but we had 2 Beagles that my mom made outdoor dogs, and we lived in a very urban area, and we would just let the dog out. Normally they'd stay in the yard, but both of them were hit by cars. in wintertime. Both were hit by cars in wintertime because we had a lot of snow and they went out in the street and got hit. One was hit by a neighbor. And the other one was hit down the road a bit. But unfortunately, my mom named, they were identical to each other. We had them each for about 3 to 4 years. My mom named them both Maggie. She shouldn't have named the second one Maggie because I think she was jinxing it because both Maggies were hit by cars. But the first Maggie especially, extremely smart dogs. Beagles are extremely smart. The downside of having a beagle, especially is if you get them young, is they're gnars. They're going to chew on everything. They gradually do grow out of it, but you can give them all the chew toys you want. They're going to eat your chairs and your dining room table and your end tables first. You had a beagle named Spot? Now, when I was a little kid, right after we moved again and got to a house where we were allowed to have pets again, we had a Snoopy beagle, as we called it, one of those rare white beagles with the black spots where they're more white than the predominant black and brown hair. Which, of course, my sister's named Snoopy. Beagles don't bark a lot, but they will howl a lot. And the problem is, I love a beagle howl. But our beagles that we had actually, like any dog, would bark at strangers at the door, but they didn't just bark like some dogs. You know, you get those, what we always call yap dogs, but those Yorkies, and that just bark at, you know, everything, including their own tail. Yip, 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 yip. You know, they're just, but I love a beagle howl. That is one of the sweetest sounds in the world, is to hear a beagle howl. I used to do everything I could to get the Maggies to howl. And then Huskies, hey, Lord Monsville is here, welcome in. And Clive, of course. Clive, what breed is your dog? Because you've got Malamute, Husky. Because we had a Siberian Husky. It was actually my sister's dog, but my sister lived in our house. We had a Siberian Husky for a while. We had a lot of pets because they always lasted about 3-4 years. Because my dad would get sick of the dog mess in the yard. That's it, the dog's going, and off to the pound. Because my sisters, who were older than me, we want a dog. You got to pick up the crap. Well, they wouldn't pick up the crap, so either I had to pick up the crap or my dad picked up the crap. And so 2-3 years of that, my dad, that's it, gone. Okay, yours is a Siberian Husky. Okay. But Huskies are just extremely intelligent and, as Clive will demonstrate in some of his videos, very expressive. They will let you know what they're thinking, both with their face and the way they bark and howl. Oh, the Malamute died a couple of years ago. Okay. Raymond, I wish that were always true. Unfortunately, I get the mutants that don't. One usually does, but not always, and the other one, well, we had so many dogs. My mom actually bought a poodle that she showed. My mom had these crazy things, and we were poor, but then every now and then something would happen. My dad would come into some money, and the first thing my mom did was, oh, I want to buy all this. So one time my mom decided she wanted to do a show dog, so my dad got a raise and a bonus or something like that, and my mom just immediately took the money and bought this poodle. chocolate poodle from Texas. Bonnie Prince Charlie Chocolate, blah, blah, blah. Big official name, AKC registered. Was like $250, $300 in 1973, 74, whatever it was. And we weren't allowed to pet it. We weren't allowed to have anything to do with Charlie. But my mom started showing it, driving it around locally and then slowly expanding. And Charlie did win a few shows. He had a 2-3 year period where my mom put the work in and won shows with Charlie. But then, typical of my mom, it was a fad thing she did for a couple of years. She got burned out. She wasn't doing it anymore. And then Charlie became a house pet. And along with Charlie, we had Murphy the Basset Hound. And we had Charlie and Murphy together for about 3-4 years before we were going on vacation. My dad was taking the whole family on vacation. He wasn't taking the dogs. So he put the dogs, he told us he was putting the dogs somewhere to stay. But when we came back, oh, they sold our dogs. I'm pretty sure my dad either gave the dogs away or had them put down. Let it run away on purpose. Be right back. Guess what? Doggy play. And last I knew, my sister was into one of my sisters. I had 3. Was into raising wolves. Well, hello, Sprue and Glue. I really am sorry I keep missing your guys' live feeds, but my mornings anymore are just packed. Especially in the summer when Joyce is home, because we're always going off and doing something in the morning, whether it's playing tennis or biking or whatever. Now that she's back to work, I'll probably start having time to pop in, because you and Little History were doing Warhammer stuff. And I love Warhammer. I don't do the miniatures of Warhammer because my miniatures were Lord of the Rings. But I do love Warhammer, the Warhammer universe. And I play Warhammer games on my computer and PlayStation 5. Yes, Raymond, doggy play is something very different in the adult world. Well, Raymond, I don't know how many years I got on you, but I'm 60 and I'm not growing up. Joyce accepted a long time ago that I wasn't going to grow up. I may grow old, but I won't grow up. What's the old joke? Growing up. Growing old is mandatory, growing up is optional. I don't want to grow up. I'm a Toys R Us kid. Well, hello, Sir Dave. Welcome into our weekly meeting of the Knights of the Rhomboid Table. Very cool gift you got there. Very emotional video there. I will say this. There is one thing where I have become an old man. There's one thing where I have growing up. I used to love getting my car and flying down the freeway. And, you know, every now and then there'd be a jerk. You know, you're trying to do 85 and they want to do 97 and they're going to ride your ass in the middle lane instead of... But I hate driving anywhere anymore. My family says it's gotten worse since COVID. But, oh my God, just the number of idiots seems to have just increased exponentially beyond the number of new people on the road. It's like, do they understand the rules? You know, you don't pass on the right doing 90 miles an hour in the United States. Obviously, you know, you pass on the left in the United States. Obviously, in the UK, it's different. You don't pass on the left, you should pass on the right. And you just get these idiots flying, you know, the people that their car is 8 foot long, 9 foot long, and the space between me and the car behind is 10 foot, and they're like, oh, I got room to get in there. And I don't get road rage, but I get road pissed. And I can't stand it anymore. Anytime I'm driving down the highway, there's just way too many numbskulls that just drive too dangerously and don't understand the rules. You know, like solid white line means don't change lanes, no passing. Because as much as I love to drive fast, I do obey every other traffic law. And if everybody around me is doing 70, 75, then I'm going to do 70, 75. I'm not going to try to do 90 when all the traffic's doing 70 because there's usually a reason for it. Well, hello, Sir Dave the Kiwi. Welcome in. Yeah, unfortunately for me, Dave, the nearest hobby store is 2 hours away, so even that's a little bit of a jaunt. Now, again, if you're in Australia, 2 hours is nothing. That's going to the meat market or something. But even here where I live, 2 hours is, that for me, that's a long drive. And I drove across the United States overnight once. I drove to New York City overnight once. I shouldn't say I drove across the United States. I drove from Toledo to Yellowstone National Park in 24 hours, 23 hours, nonstop. I'm jealous of all you that have model train stores. We don't even have a model train store in Toledo. We have Hobby Town USA. We have Hobby Town USA. We have one of them. And it has a minimal model train selection and nothing 3-rail. But it has your scenics, but it's more radio control, models, games. But it does have a model train section. Very small N scale and small HO scale. No O scale. It's just HO and N scale. The Hobby Lobbies in Toledo do not sell trains. And Menards only sells trains at Christmas time. And we don't have the old toy stores either. We don't have all those toy stores. So the closest model train shop to me is about an hour and a half away. Well, about an hour away getting into Detroit. But it's a small shop. And the closest shop that sells anything European is 2 hours and 10 minutes away. And it doesn't stock anything modern. It's all era 1 through 4 mostly. They'll have a couple of era 5, and every now and then they might get. But yeah, it's an old shop, and it is the official Märklin shop in this region. But the guy that owns it is like 90. His wife is 87. She does most of the in-store retail. Family doesn't really help. He's got some local guys that come in and help run the shop. Yeah, the first shop that would have anything that I really want is about 5 hours away, which is Renaud's in west of Chicago. So that's about 5 hours away. There's supposedly a place in Cincinnati, but which is 3 to 4 hours away, depending on how easy I-75 is running. But the one I go to is called Ormondy's, and that's in a little town called Medina, Ohio, which is about 2 hours, 10 minutes away from me. I have made it in under 2 hours a couple of times. But, you know, the thing is, when I go to Europe, now, there are towns that don't have train shops, and there was a train shop in Kiel that I was actually planning on going to in our trip to Germany this year, in the town of Kiel in northern Germany. It's closed. It went out of business. So there are shops closing, but I go to Freiburg, and there's 3 model train shops in town, 2 that sell Märklin. I go to Kempten, and there's a nice little shop. And then you have department stores, like there's this department store in Germany called Müller's. And Müller's, if you get the full-size Müller's, they've got a model train section that's bigger than the toy section of most department stores in the United States. And they're gorgeous, and they're decently priced. They're not as cheap as... But, yeah, I've been to tons of model train shops my last few trips. And, Bannert's in Vienna, amazing shop. What an awesome... That's a department store, but they've got a large section of the second floor of their store is the model train shop. And they had so much stuff, new stock and stuff that was released 10, 15, 20 years ago, and they still have it on stock. They had a bunch of the Fleischmann Profi track that Jim from Hover Motion was looking for. I said, dude, I can get this for you if you want. He's like, nah, don't. Well, hello, Class de Bas. How are you? Yeah, a lot of web shops. I am a Modellbahnshop Lippe guy. And I get people that argue with me, oh, Besser Preise is cheaper. No, it isn't. I have never found Besser Preise to have the loco I want cheaper than Lippe did. Now, sometimes Besser Preise has something Lippe doesn't have. But when I'm shopping for a loco, Besser Preise, I've never found Besser Preise cheaper. So Lippe is my shop. But when I'm in Germany, I will go to the local shops. When I visit Germany, I will go into the local shops, and I always buy something. I'll spend anywhere from $30 to $100 in the shop just to support the shop. I don't know if that sounds like a lot or nothing at all, but when most times they don't have what I'm after, or I know I can get it cheaper somewhere else, but I'll buy scenics, I'll buy scenery, I'll buy some freight cars, or passenger cars. I am, how would I say this? I would have been surprised when I got into the hobby, but now I'm not surprised. I've talked to so many Germans and Czechs and Frenchmen, and they like American trains. And so they, so Roco, Piko, and Märklin tricks, do release American locos because they're not releasing them for the American market for the most part. They're releasing them for the European market that want these trains and locos. Märklin just released 4 different versions of E44 or whatever, the 44 diesel. And all 4 of them sold out. All 4 of them sold out. You can still maybe find them at shops, but they're sold out from the Märklin factory, and they're sold out from the shops I know. Some of them have just arrived at, the latest one just arrived at a couple of the American shops. Hey, Sir Andy from March West. Yeah, TT. See, the funny thing is, TT is the second most common size in Germany, and or is it the HO is number 1, and then TT is number 2, and there's a couple of countries where TT is the biggest seller. I actually would have gone TT if I could have found an ICE3 in TT when I got into the hobby, and I couldn't. I could find a Regio Bahn and some freight stuff, but I could not find any ICEs in TT size. Now, I'm glad I went with a Märklin train. I didn't know what I was getting into with the 3-rail, but knowing me and how lazy I am, going 3-rail was the best thing in the world, especially with the Märklin C-Track. It's just plug and play digital. You want easy digital? Unfortunately, you know, the United States isn't really set up for 3-rail in HO scale. Black Forest Hobby is a shop I have bought a few things from over the years, but overall I tend to find them pricey. The American shops I buy stuff from, AJC and Kids, or online they're just AJC Kids. But officially it's Annie, Jewel, Charlie, and Kids. Annie, Jewel, Charlie, and Kids. And it's a interior knick-knack store and train shop. They sell flower stuff and interior decorations and just sort of like a woman's knick-knack store. And then they also have a train shop. But they're a fantastic shop. Probably the best customer service in North America, in my opinion. They don't have the selection of Renaud's or a Micro Macro Mundo World in Florida does, or a couple of the East Coast shops. But they make up for it in customer service and friendliness. I've talked to them many times on the phone. They're just wonderful people. They've helped me out a lot when I was getting into the hobby. And then, so that's my primary shop. I have bought from Renaud's and I have bought from Micro Macro Mundo World. And then Jim's Hobby, or JJ's Hobby, is where I used to buy all my track from. When I used to do large bulk orders of track. Because he sold it cheaper than anybody. And that was JJ's Hobby out of a suburb of Boston. And then there's just a couple of little shops that I will go to. I'm trying to think of its name. I used to buy a lot of Allhagen buildings, and this guy has everything Allhagen in. Maybe it's Jim's Hobby too. Track and Allhagen from Jim, yeah. Raymond, and it's funny you mentioned Trains, because I will always say, now Trains just moved again. He was in Beaufort, Georgia for a while, and now he's moved. I forget where he's based out of now. I just bought something from him recently. Trains used to have a shop here in Toledo. He lived only a couple of miles south of me. But he had a shop here in Toledo. And he lived a mile or 2 miles just down the road from me. I'm in South Toledo. His shop was in Central Toledo. And he lived in a suburb of Toledo called Maumee. And I live about a mile north of the border between Toledo and our suburb of Maumee. But
I've always felt he was overpriced for a lot of stuff. He's gotten better from some things I'm looking at, but when he was in Georgia, he was very overpriced. But anymore, I buy most of my stuff from Lipa. I would say, not counting buildings, but all my Fowler car stuff is from Lipa. Almost all my model train stuff is from Lipa. Occasionally I bought off of eBay. And I buy my buildings either from eBay or a couple of online shops. Just going by price. Wait a minute, did I catch this? Does Dino have a new logo? Did he just... I tend to look at names and not logos. Oh, that is new. Oh, that's cool. Nice one, Dino. Yeah, Christopher changed his logo here, and I didn't even catch that he went back to Sakura Densha. He had to tell me when we were talking on the video phone on Wednesday. Like, did you notice anything about my channel? I was like, no, I did watch your videos. I watched his video today with the Air Force stuff, and I watched a bunch of videos today, just haven't commented because I've been playing on my computer. Well, hello, Sir Mark from Stanover, Captain Static. Someday I'll put some legit... Actually, I'm going to take those boards out, those platforms out, and I'm going to put different platforms in, and I'm probably going to rearrange the algorithm there a bit. All right, good night, EFO. Thanks for joining us and hanging out with us. It's always appreciated. But I would dearly, dearly love to get to you know, the Toledo train show is doing better, but one of my friends was just at a train show that was about 4 hours east of me, and they had all kinds of Märklin stuff there. I was like, oh, wow, I would love to have been at that show. Oh, Chris, you just bought a Koplopa? I really wanted to get one of those Koplopers, but I didn't because I had other things that were higher on the priority. Anyhow, Sir Allen, Lord Allen, my lord, I said hello to you earlier, but... Yeah, I know, Chris. Märklin made both Koplopers recently. I just didn't want to invest that money on them. I kind of regret it, but I had other things I wanted. Anyhow, I just wanted to ask how you're doing. Hope you've been well, sir. Yeah, Dino, I had money set aside for the night jet and just decided it wasn't enough. That's why I bought that ICE4 and that second ICE4 instead. Yeah, Alan, your name came up in a conversation at Joyce's work. What day was it? What day did I go in? Wednesday. I went in with her on Wednesday because I had to finish setting up her computer and build some furniture for her in her classroom. But Joyce has a new teaching partner. They're team teaching. She is, her husband is originally from Liverpool. He's a naturalized, or they're both naturalized. She's a naturalized American citizen. He isn't. I'm trying to figure out how this works. Anyhow, he was originally, his description was he's from Liverpool, but he lived west of Liverpool near the Welsh border. So that prompted Joyce to call me from work and say, Anthony, where does Alan live? And so I had to mention, I mentioned the little town or village you were from. That's weird. Yes, Sean. Alan gave us one of the most amazing tours of northern Wales and the Snowdonia area. Joyce and I, to this day, just talk about what an amazingly beautiful area North Wales is. One of the prettiest places we've ever seen in the world. It was just it was a wonderful day with Alan and Babs, which we'll always be eternally grateful and always talk about. But it was just what a beautiful, beautiful area. And I mean, I've been in the Austrian Alps, in the German Alps, the Swiss Alps, and those are all beautiful too. They're all beautiful. I'll never say one part of the world is more beautiful than others. It's just certain things make them more special. And when you get, Alan could work as a tour guide driving people through these regions because he's got great, great stories that I love listening to. And he knows the places to show you. Snowdonia is absolutely one of the prettiest places I've ever seen. I have had places like West Virginia, coming out in Virginia, the Shenandoah Valley area in Virginia. I was on a train. Going from the city of Dresden in southeast Germany on the way to Prague. And we went through this group of mountains called the Erzgebirge, the Ore Mountains. And we came into Czechoslovakia. And then when we came out of the mountains, Joyce and I were actually looking that direction. Our backs were to the direction, or mine was. Joyce was sitting across me. And we came out of the mountains and hit the plateaus that lead to Silesia, just as beautiful. That was a stunningly beautiful, because you have this line of hills behind you that runs as far as you can see. And then the other direction, it's just flat land all the way eastwards, all the way down into Prague. And it was just an amazing view to see that glacial effect. Andy, hello, Sir Andy. Ustin nad labem. Well, there you go. You're in the Czech Republic. Lucky you, or maybe not lucky you, but I like the Czech Republic. And you are in the Austrian Alps right now. The Tyrolean Alps, maybe? CMD, how are you, sir? Yeah, Mark from Hemmeldown has gone off the radar. Now, I did hear that Pete from Delft Junction is okay. I just hadn't seen him online for a little bit, but a couple of people had heard from him. I really should have people's phone numbers and that where I could text them and check in on them, but I'm very bad about that. I'm always scared I'll call and interrupt something. Me, I'm retired, so still you could interrupt something now and then, but usually not. Did I just see Jean Ricard has come in? Hello, Jean Ricard. The guests all being well. Yeah. Beer in the Czech Republic is very inexpensive. Although there's also very inexpensive beer in smaller towns in Germany. There are places where you can get some very inexpensive beer. Oh, you're in the Salzkammergut. Okay. So that's just, it's still the Alps, but it's not the Tyrolean Alps. The Salzkammergut. The hills are alive with the sound of music. Oh, the Czechs have great beer. I mean, you know, everybody wants to argue over beer, but the Czechs have great beer. Germans have great beer. I was shocked to find the Italians actually have a couple of decent beers. Speaking of good European beers, here's a tragedy. One of my favorite European beers, the Belgian beer Stella Artois, they took over a brewery in the United States, and now all the beer in America that is Stella Artois is brewed in the United States, and it's not the same. Beck's did the same thing. You used to be able to get imported Beck's and it tasted good. Now the Beck's is brewed here in the United States, and it's not the same. I like Beck's. It's not my favorite beer, but it's a good beer. It's a solid beer. But now it's American brewed, and it's just not right. And sadly, Stella Artois. Even if you go to the store, I keep looking. Nope, brewed in the USA, brewed in the USA. Used to be able to get it, and the bottles would say imported. Now it's brewed in the United States. Yeah, Czech Budweiser, Budavich. Oh, you're having a hot day there. I have not had a true proper English cider, so I can't comment on that. I do like a good beer, but I'm not a beer drinker. I've got a 6-pack of Italian beer in my refrigerator that I bought months ago, and it's still got 3 beers left in it. When I'm in Germany or even the UK, I drink more beer. In Germany, I won't say I average a beer a day, but at least 2 beers every 3 days when I'm in Germany. And I'll average a beer a month at the most here in the United States. Water chemistry, the way you brew it, the type of hops and whatever else you're going to add into it, the various grains. There's a lot of things that factor into it. So even if you use the same recipe, water definitely has something to do with it, but I really think a lot of it is just, for example, Stella Artois American is 5.4% alcohol, and in Germany it's like 6.2. That difference in alcohol percentage is also a big difference, because that's one of the things with American beers. We are a lower percentage alcohol. Why? I don't know, but that's how we do it. Oh, by the way, Jean Ricard, you might be looking and noticing my ICE3 is parked because it started acting up and I just parked it. I'll mess with it later. It's flickering. I'm wondering if that wire I keep fixing is loose again. It's kind of jerk, 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 you know, goes for a bit, jerk, slows down, goes. I'm wondering if it's losing contact on that wire, because that wire's only broken 3 times. I sent it out to get fixed the first time. Well, the first 2 times when the wire snapped. And then he said, it's a wire. I finally opened it up, looked at the wire, said, oh, I can fix that myself. Yeah, I've actually been to Děčín. Although Prague was my longest stay in the Czech Republic, where I spent all day in Prague. Děčín, I was there for 3-4 hours. And then there's a town called Šrensko, which is right on the German border, German-Czech border, Šrensko. And I spent the day there with my students, because it was quicker and easier. Because somebody told us, don't go to Děčín, it's a tourist trap. But then Joyce and I, when we were in Dresden in 2017, went over to Děčín, and yeah, it was kind of a tourist trap. The problem is, Šrensko was the worst one. This little town of Šrensko, which is in this beautiful valley, river valley with high sandstone cliffs, wooded sandstone cliffs. Beautiful little region. But it's this tiny little town, and it's just loaded with designer rip-off, designer knockoff markets. And there seemed to be 2 families that were running the different shops. Because you'd go here and all of a sudden you'd go down the road and the same 2 people that were working this shop are suddenly picking up something in that shop and running back. And there's just all these little shops. I think the people were Vietnamese, I think is what they said. But it was all, you know, your imitation shoes, jackets, clothing, where it looks like the name brand stuff and the name is kind of like the name brand stuff, but it isn't the name brand stuff. You know, instead of an Omega wristwatch, it's an Omeka, O-M-E-C-A. Yeah, at the risk of sounding very bad, I have no desire to ever travel southeastern, you know, Greece, Turkey, and around the Fertile Crescent, the Middle East. I have no desire. The history would thrill me, but the food, the weather, because I don't like deserts, a lot of instability, especially for an American. I have no desire to go there. I just don't have a desire to see Egypt. If I want a trip, I'd be half tempted to sell it and take the money and go somewhere else. I still have too much to do in Germany. And then there's our Scandinavian trip, as well as going back to the UK. And now someday we're going back to Australia. And apparently we're going to stop off in Hawaii or Fiji on the way over. You're growing your own hops. My brother-in-law, Joyce's younger brother, he was into microbrewery for a while and then seems to have phased out of it, where he was making all his own beers. He became quite the beer snob, where even European beers weren't good enough. It had to be somebody's brewed in their garage for it to be any good. I remember him telling me on a trip to Germany, he said, hey, would you bring me home some, obscure German beers? I'm like, well, I don't know what obscure German beers to you. So I had a couple of beers I really liked. I was like, I'd never heard of these beers in America, and I take them back to him. He's like, oh, I've had these. Oh, I don't know that. Yeah, I mean, seeing the pyramids would be a once-in-a-lifetime mind-bending thing. But, of course, everybody who sees the pyramids, and all the photographs always show the pyramids in the desert. But if you just go around to the other side of the pyramids, Alexandria, or the outskirts of Alexandria, are right there. I mean, you can see the massive city. It's not like they're out in the middle of nowhere. The urban city is just a couple of miles away. They always make sure they take the pictures where you don't see the urban sprawl coming in. No, like I said, I have no desire. I have no desire to be honest, to travel anywhere in Asia. I have no desire to travel in Asia. Not Japan, not China, not Singapore, Hong Kong. I have no desire. Again, the food would get me. I just have too much I want to see in Europe, the UK. I still want to get to places somewhere before I die. I want to get to Romania, Bulgaria. I'd like to get into those areas a bit. Outskirts of Cairo. Sorry, Cairo. You want to come to Toledo. Toledo it's a nice little city. It's a Rust Belt city. And it's seen its better days. It's definitely a city that is not as... it's actually probably more vibrant today than it was 40 years ago when it was an industrial town. It's got a lot of pretty parks. There's a lot of cool little history things around Toledo. From post-Revolutionary War, War of 1812 era. We've got the famous Erie Canal here in Toledo. We've got a beautiful river that's great for kayaking and boating and such. And we've got some local foods that are really good, from grease pits to high-end steak restaurants that are well regarded. And the nice thing about Toledo is we're not far away. We're 5 hours from Chicago. We're 1 hour from Detroit, 2 hours from Cleveland, 2 hours to 2.5 hours from Columbus. So you want to take in various professional sports. It's all around us. We're on the major east-west artery, 80-90, and the major north-south artery, 75. We're right where 80-90 and 75 cross. The longest north-south, most important north-south highway in the United States, and the longest and most important east-west highway. They cross right in Toledo. You ever want to find Toledo, look for I-75 and I-80-90. Toledo is right where they cross. Yeah, actually, Joyce and I wanted to get up to Oxford, and we didn't. Oxford is famous for the university, and obviously it has some connections to Shakespeare. Oh, that's cool. From the Metro, that's nice. I mean, Toledo is probably most famous for the things that Klinger on the TV show MASH made it famous for. Tony Packo's hot dogs, the Toledo Mud Hens baseball team. Toledo was called the glass capital of the world because more glass products were made in Toledo than anywhere else in the world. Unfortunately, most of that, the headquarters are still in Toledo. Like even fiberglass, Owens Corning fiberglass, some of it is still manufactured in Toledo, but most of it is manufactured overseas or out of country now. Owens Corning, there was Libby Owens glass, Libby glass. Some of it is made here in Toledo, but most of it's made in Mexico and then shipped here to Toledo. Let's see how the floor is doing. I haven't put on the floor cam in a while. But there I was waiting for, the first time I think I've shown it on this camera, the guy's on the floor. Well, yeah, but stuff that was American corporations now made in other countries. It was all made here too, like Champion spark plugs. At one time, the most famous spark plug in the United States, the biggest selling spark plug in the United States, Champion, was headquartered and made here in Toledo. Then they moved it to Arkansas, and now I think it's in Mexico. And we had a lot of industries to serve the Detroit, especially GM. And of course we have Jeep. The famous World War II Jeep. World War II Jeeps were built in Toledo and in Pennsylvania. Now Jeep has 3 or 4 factories in the United States. Toledo's still their biggest, but there's one in Wisconsin, and I think one in Pennsylvania, and I forget where the other one is. St. Louis, maybe? Did football season kick off today? I thought, well, Liverpool, I think, kicks off tomorrow or Sunday. I forget which one. New coach, so it's very curious because, to be honest, I'm kind of glad to see Jurgen Klopp go. The team just, to me, underachieved. He had some great seasons. He won a UEFA Cup, but in his 9 years there, he won 1 League Cup. And frickin' Man City won 4. Chelsea won a couple. Heck, even Leicester won 1. And there were so many times he had a chance to win the league, and the team just always seemed to underperform against the lesser teams. You know, they could beat Man City, but they couldn't beat West Ham. Sorry to any West Ham fan. You know, they'd play a 0-0 tie or a 1-0 loss or a 1-1 tie. It just completely uninspired, and I don't know if he just didn't know. I mean, he's famous for having a bad temper, but I mean, something out there, you got to crack the whip. Plus, he goes out and hires all these signs, all these forwards that he never plays, and then they get disgruntled because they're not playing. They were playing for SB Salzburg, and then, you know, all the time, and then they come to Liverpool and they sit the bench because he's got to wait till he thinks they're ready to play for him, and they create disunity on the team. And then he would never seem to make, like, midfield's been a joke in Liverpool for years, and he's just never gone out and got really the top quality. He goes out and spends all the money on forwards, and then he got Virgil van Dijk and Alistair in the goal, But midfield, he brings in guys, and then he's got young guys that are developing, and then he ships them off so he can keep all these older pros around. All these young guys that are going to develop into great players, but they can't get in on the team because he's always bringing in some guy that's got 9-10 years experience. So I thank him for his service, but I'm glad to see Jurgen Klopp gone because I just think he held the team back the last few years, that he just failed to make the right moves to help Liverpool. And then the worst move he did. Last year he's got a 9-point or 7-point lead in the league, and then he announces it's his last season, and the team went, and I think he announced that retirement with the aim of motivating them and keeping them fresh, and instead the team went in the tank, and they finished second or third. I forget where they finished in the table last year, but just stupid to announce you're leaving at that time. Hey, Sir Steve, and Sir Stu is here, and Sir Kieran is here. Hey, Steve PSAP, how are you? Welcome in. Another nice video today, Stuart. But now with the new coach, how many guys are going to start filtering away? Mo Salah is my favorite player, but how many good years does he have left? He is in extreme fitness. He just had a great international summer with Egypt. He looks fit and fine. Liverpool's paid to keep him there, but I can see them selling him over the next year or two, letting him go. Well, they're all beer wagons. I just wanted to run a beer train. I was actually going to run two, and then I decided on one. I really struggled deciding what to run, and now my IC3 is acting up again. And that's like third train now that's been acting up in the last month. So I got to see why it's acting up. But I'll just leave it parked, and then when the show's over, I'll pull it over by me and take it apart. But I don't want to try to move it off and put another train on. I mean, I kind of could, but Hornby's new Bugatti-styled B17 is out. Any takers? I have no idea. Obviously, that is something I can't really talk intimately about, but Hornby, of course, just announced that they're raising prices. Simon Cole retired, so they have to, afford his buyout somehow. A chopped down Mallard, interesting. Oh, well, that's cool, Karen. Maybe you'll put it up on your channel and we can look at it. Because the only Class 56 I know is the Chris class, the Valleys 56. You got your Conrail C93-8 back. Unfortunately, it came not long after you left, so it's sitting at home waiting for you. That sucks, but there it is. Oh, yuck. Soaked in the rain. Oh, no. I've had that. Fortunately, the stuff I get from Lipa, if it got set out and it got rained on, so one thing I really wish is that we had a cover over our front porch. But Lipa wraps their stuff in plastic, so even if the box gets totaled, it doesn't get to the interior devices. Bugatti design train. Just to cause trouble, I'm not impressed with Bugatti cars, so a Bugatti design train doesn't impress me. Und wer den Dampflok-Einsatz bei der Deutschen Reichsbahn der 80er Jahre in Altmark nacherleben möchte, ist hier richtig. Auch für Freunde und der modernen Bahn gibt es hier viel zu sehen. Vor allem aus der Altmark und Dörde. Wie kommt man in eine bodenständige Region wie der Altmark zu einem exotischen Hobby wie Eisenbahnfotografie? Diese Frage versuche ich mit dieser Seite ebenfalls zu beantworten. Also dann, auf geht's in die gute alte DDR-Eisenbahnwelt. Well, good for him. Grizzly based his streamlining on Bugatti. Well, there you go. But he based it. Well, wait a minute, Raymond. How can they ban you from buying their cars if you sell them too early because you'd have to buy it? Or is once you do it, they ban you? If they find out you did it, they ban you from buying another one. A4s are very fast Bugatti mudguards. Well, just one more case of not going up into trains means nothing to me. And this empty little corner of my layout shall hopefully be filled soon. There we go. Little beer train. So there, it got busy just in time. Yes, Andy. I am still coming to Getz. I'm also going to the Warley show at Stafford Barn. We're going to do both. We arrive in the UK. I'm talking like it's really going to happen. Hopefully it happens this year. Ferraris, overpriced pieces of tin. Yeah, I said it. But yeah, so we're arriving very early Friday morning. We should be at Milton Keynes sometime around 1 in the afternoon that Friday. And we haven't decided what all we're going to do. We assume there are going to be some people that are coming in Friday as well. I've been trying to talk Joyce, but we already bought our flight and everything, so we're coming in Friday. and then we're leaving Monday. But we are Milton Keynes Friday, and then Saturday morning, we're actually going to go up to Staffold Barn, like leave really early in the morning and get there just as that show opens up. We're going to stay there till about noon and then come back to Getz. We should be back at Getz around 2 in the afternoon for the last 2-3 hours of that show and catch all the people that came in Saturday, hopefully. And then Sunday we'll be at Getz all day. Oh, don't even mention the word fiat in here. I despise fiat. I despise fiat with a passion. Fix it again tomorrow, exactly. You can only type one. Yeah, I know the other one too. Oh, actually, George, I mentioned that. I saw lots of the Air War board games, but I never played one. Like they did, I think SPI had one called Aces, which was World War I flying combat. Avalon Hill had World War II strategic, which was called Luftwaffe. Actually, an American would say Luftwaffe, but it's Luftwaffe. But I never played one. I was always curious how they did the dimensional, you know, the 3-dimensional. Because ground combat's 2-dimensional. But air warfare, yeah, we're going to go up to 1,000, do the, you know. I was always curious how they did the rules for that. And I had more games than I wanted. Or I should say, there were more games than I could afford to buy. I had so many games I wanted, but money was always tight. I was always wasting money to buy a game, and they were $20-25 back in the 80s for a basic game. In fact, speaking of, I did pay only 15. I bought this game twice now for $15. Let me grab it real quick. This is the problem with doing a video. Joyce already shook her head at me. After I did that video on my other hobbies, which was heavily on wargaming, I was looking at my games and I go, you know, I sold this game called NATO, 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 years ago, and I miss it. I really miss it. So I went on eBay, and damn it, somebody had it for $15, so I've got it back. And I bought it for about $18 in 1983, 84 when it came out. Bought it for $18 then. I sold it for $10, and I bought it again for $15. But yeah, I bought this one. Totally out of date now, but it was a fun game. If you wanted to play World War III, this was a fun game. I don't know if World War III is fun, but I did enjoy military, even modern era military combat. Well, hello, Rick. Pauline's gone to Scotland for the weekend. Lotus, lots of trouble, usually serious. I know that one too. But yeah, and then I started looking at Lord of the Rings, and I had some people comment to me, and I started talking to them, and I was like, so I started Googling Lord of the Rings, and Joyce is like, you cannot go back. anything you spend, that's train money. And I'm like, okay, maybe I won't click on that. But there are a couple of war games I always wanted and never bought, and I look for them on eBay because that stupid video re-sparked. No, I'm not changing out of trains, but it's just I always won that game. And I looked up one game. It's like I always won that game, and like people have got it. It's $250. I'm like, no, I can't afford that right now. There's one game I really want. Somebody's got the version I want because there's 3 versions of it, which is the 30 Years' War, because I tried to keep at least one game based on every major war I had an interest in. But I never had a game on the 30 Years' War. I mean, I've got a game on the Wars of the Roses. I've got games on the 100 Years' War. I've got games on the English Civil Wars. I've got games on World War I, World War II. You know, I don't have a Crimean War game. I would love a Franco-Prussian War game. But I found the one I always wanted on the 30 Years' War, and it's going anywhere from $50 to $200 depending on condition, and there's 3 different versions of that game, and I really, really want it. And I'm just sitting here, maybe, maybe, no, maybe, no, maybe, no. They didn't want to be shot at. They shouldn't have been the enemy. Oh, Chris, did you have all the folios? Chris from Bally's 56. Did you have all the additional folios? Oh my God, some of those are worth hundreds of dollars now. I never bought those. I've got the original standard startup game, and I have 1 folio. But again, I couldn't afford them. When those were coming out, I was in high school and college, and every dime was going to school, books, car, and then I met this woman named Joyce, and I needed to spend a little money on her now and then, although she was a cheap date. Joyce was happy to go bowling or to go to McDonald's and go home and watch basketball. Joyce was very working class herself, and so she didn't need money spent on her, which is good because I didn't have a lot of money to spend on her. Yeah, Cordova and Ardor twice. Arnor probably. And yeah, that one, Court of Arnor, and there's a couple other that are going. I want the one of Rohan because most of those folios came with both large scale map, you know, where it's like a village or a house or whatever that you're playing the bit in, but they also came with regional maps. And the original folios, you could put all the regional maps together and form a extremely large map of Middle Earth, and that's what really drew it to me. I so wish I could have afforded to have bought those folio games, and now they're just, you know, the most common ones are $30-$40 on eBay, and the great ones, the rare ones, $200 to $400 on eBay. Angmar Cardolan, oh my God, dude. A, I love you, but B, I'm pissed at you that you gave them away. You're pissed at yourself. That's all right. Steve, I pay about 30, you know, if I roughly translate, 35 to 40 bucks. Because they're usually about 30, 32 euros. Let me look it up right now, because I can do that. Oui. Don't say si, say oui. Oui. Si, I mean oui, Inspector. Okay, let me add that up. About $45 now. The Fowler one is 39 euros, although I'm paying, yeah, about 42 American dollars, because I'm paying 37 euros. Now, if you buy them from some of the American places, you'll pay 45, 50 bucks. Basically, you're paying a buck and a half. Could I get you one of those for your price? Yeah, I don't see why not. But yeah, like I said in that video, I am a huge Middle-earth geek. I wrote articles for the Tolkien Society of America, which was the official magazine for the Lord, for the Tolkien people. The TSA. I did a few editorials and things. I was one of the people asked if you all know the card game Magic the Gathering. Well, Iron Crown Enterprises decided to try to do. Iron Crown Enterprises, by the way, is the official Tolkien family business for releasing games and toys related to Lord of the Rings. Or at least the licensor. So, like if Kenner wanted to release Lord of the Ring action figures based on the movie, they had to license it from Iron Crown Enterprises and then release it in Kenner. But yeah, Iron Crown Enterprises released a card game based on Middle-earth that was basically Magic the Gathering, but was Middle-earth. And I was one of the, because of my work with Tolkien Society of America, I was one of the people asked to go up to Michigan, at the University of Michigan. They were doing what do you want to call it? It was a play testing and a gala. We're releasing it, a releasing gala, like gonna play test it, announce it to the world, blah blah blah, and let us play. I had never played Magic the Gathering, so I was learning how to play these type of card games. And I mean, it was okay. But I got like this large couple of, probably $100 worth of cards at the time for free. I still got them somewhere. They might be over on my war game thing. I'd have to take a look. Yeah, I don't know what happened. My mic has just all of a sudden gone nuts. I don't know why it went nuts. But yeah, I'm sitting here in the red right now. Sorry about that, my friends. Yeah, I was talking and all of a sudden I noticed my bar was spiking massively in the red. I don't know why. I don't know what happened, but yeah, just technology. Oh, let me see if I can find that real quick. Whoa. Yep, here we go. Pick the right box first try. Anybody that ever collected sports cards, you recognize these boxes. Yeah, this was called, let me do this one again. Not that most of you probably aren't interested, but what the heck, It was called Middle-earth card game, Middle-earth the Wizards. So I got the rule book and the starter deck. So this was the official starter deck. But then they gave me, for helping out, they gave me just, I got all this. I got it all for free. Big deck of cards. I never added to it. They gave me all this for free, and I never added to it. But that was one of the perks. But see, the sad thing is, I can't call it sad. It was a happy reason, but it was sad. Is I was supposed to go, you know, I went to the UK in 2022, as some of you may know, because I stayed with some of you, or visited some of you. But anyhow, we went to the UK in 2022, and that was exactly 30 years after I was supposed to have taken my first trip to the UK. Hi, Sir Michael from Tommy. Sorry, Raymond. Again, I have no idea what went crazy there, but all of a sudden, I don't know why my microphone went nuts, but yeah, all of a sudden, my audio mixer was just massive red. Anyhow, no, I never played the card game other than when I did the, we were there for a few hours, test trial, but I was one of the people tested. I was in their magazine, you know, play testers. I did not do an evaluation of it. I did not write an evaluation of it. I told them I didn't think it was fair because I wasn't into card playing games. It was my first time playing. Did I think it was easy enough to start with? Yes. Is it something I thought I would continue with? No. But yeah, I was supposed to go to the UK in June of 1992 because they were having the 100th anniversary of Tolkien's birth. It was a Tolkien centenary, they were calling it. And because of some of my work with the TSA, Tolkien Society of America, and some stuff I had done, even my master's in English literature was, I based some of my work in researching Tolkien and the mythological patterns behind Tolkien's work. But anyhow, so I was invited to attend, and I was asked if I wanted to attend a private get-together with Christopher Tolkien, J.R.R. Tolkien's son, who took over, you know, he's the one who edited and put out the Silmarillion and Unnamed, and then also edited the History of Middle-earth books, the 12-book series, and several others before he passed away a few years ago. Now there's a guy that was kind of like his secretary that now does it, because even, I think all of Tolkien's children are now dead because they were in their 80s and 90s. His eldest son was a priest in Canada, and he died like age 94. But anyhow, I actually got to exchange emails with Christopher Tolkien and was talking to him about some things. And I was going to be in this, like there's going to be 10 of us with Christopher Tolkien and his people in this private thing at, I think it was going to be at Oxford. Was it going to be at Oxford or Cambridge? I can't remember which school it was going to be at. But anyhow, in the time period when that first came up and I got invited, Joyce found out she was pregnant with our daughter Elizabeth, and Joyce had had 2 miscarriages before Elizabeth. And so Joyce was very nervous and all this. And then the due date was made June. Originally it was Joyce's due date had it like June 22nd, 23rd. I was supposed to fly out on around that time. So I would have been out of the country when she was due to give birth. And we were kind of breaking the bank to pay for the airfare and find me. I had somebody from the UK Tolkien Society find me lodging with somebody where I was only going to pay like £10 a night or something like that. And Joyce knew it was special to me. It was going to be a one-of-a-kind event for me. But when we found out that her due date was in the middle of this, I couldn't leave the country and leave Joyce. Because we had, Lynn was 3.5. Joyce is having a rough pregnancy. I just couldn't do it. I had to choose between taking care of Joyce and, fulfilling that dream. And there was no question. It was, Joyce was more important than anything. So it was, that I missed my chance. That would have been a great highlight. It is what it is. She actually has had 3, but she had 2 between our first daughter and our second daughter. But she lost one at 3 months and one at 4 months. So early in the pregnancy, but like 3.5, almost 4, and then 4.5. But it was, it wasn't even a tough decision. It's one I don't regret. I just, like so many things in life, you wish things could have worked out differently. But we finally had our second child, and that was the greatest gift of all. So. Just can't, you can't, you can't wish things had been different. But, yeah, I had my time period there. Uh-oh, this is bouncing again. Come on, what's going on here? I don't know why this is acting up, but... So, I certainly don't want to bring the room down here. But yeah, we had, that was just how big I was into Tolkien. And I actually did invent my own war game for Middle-earth. Massive game. Hand drew all the playing pieces. Not that there was any artwork to it, but that's the problem. That video on my old hobbies kind of took a small match to the forgotten. These things have been sitting on those shelves there for a while. Let's see. I don't know. None of these cameras actually look over there, but I can do the one. Yeah, the Down the Horse low view. Well, actually, you can kind of see them over there. They've just been sitting on that shelf, those shelves over there for a few years, ignored. And then I did that video, and I'm just like, someday, maybe we'll go back. Someday. But, yeah, because Monsville did a video talking about how these other hobbies she kind of had filtered into the, this hobby that they had filtered into model trains. And I just saw that and I thought, Hey, take care, Kieran. Thanks for stopping by as always. Always glad to see you. But it was definitely a it's a hobby I still love. I mean, especially Middle Earth. I just I could play against myself. I've played many war games against myself, but missed him. Missed him. There we go. But I just thought it was funny, kind of cool, and I thought maybe other people might do videos on your hobby, other potential hobbies outside of trains, because I didn't even do all my hobbies. You know, I collect superhero action figures, although I've really scaled that way back in the last couple of years. But I got buckets of them here under my train table. All the Avengers and X-Men and that. But you know what other hobbies you have? Because Hot Dog Pilot, you went to a radio-controlled air show. Do you do that yourself? Yeah, Andy's here. So Andy, do you do that? Do you have a radio-controlled plane? Some people do radio-controlled cars and vehicles. Other people, it's collecting cars or riding their motorcycle. Okay, can you educate me? What does being a free flighter mean? Or like, because when I was a kid, we had these planes, usually like World War II era planes, and they had a motor that ran, but they had two wires and a handle, and you just stood there and went in circles, and the plane went in circles, and you just spun around with the plane, and you would control it. You wouldn't do that, but I just remember a cousin having one. I always wanted. My dad was like, nope, too expensive, and they have it. And then all of a sudden radio controlled planes are out, and I've seen people doing that, and it's very cool. Okay, on a control line. Or what I'm talking about was the control line. Ah, got it. So yeah, you just spin it up and let it go. All my trades are German, but there's nothing new here. All these I've had for... What is the newest locomotive or train I have on the layout today? These are all guys I've had for a while. The P8. No, the BR50. I've had the BR50 for about a year now, I think. Because we got it after we came back from Germany last year. So the BR50, which is actually an older model from the 90s, late 90s, early 2000s. But in terms of how long I've had it, we picked it up when we came back from Germany in 2023. So I've had it for just about a year now. And it's a hell of a runner. I really like that BR50. Might be my favorite steamer I own. See, my problem is I did models. You know, like a lot of guys I know do models, like Paul Vosman from Tommy Station. He does models, including remote control models that he redoes the motors and designs them himself. But I used to buy models build them, and then we would get one of those big plastic foot deep pools and set it up in the driveway of our house, because you didn't set it up in the yard because it would kill the grass, and then my dad would kill you. And then we'd play naval battles, and we'd use firecrackers. You talk about wasting money. That was the one thing my dad yelled at me about, that in my old age, I look back and go, he was right about that. Because I'd buy a model for $4, $5, up to $10. Take all the time, build it, glue it together. I didn't paint them. I'd put all the stickers on, but I didn't paint them. And then we'd take them out into a pool or a pond in the neighborhood, and we'd play naval battles, and we'd just use firecrackers and M80s, and just, boom, I blew up your ship. Boom, I blew up your ship. That was stupid. That was a waste of money. Yeah, I do not collect comic books anymore, but I still have all my Marvel X-Men comics from the 90s. I sold off my 70s and 80s, but I still have my comic books from the late 80s through the 90s, I think up to 1999, the various X-Men titles. Do I still have my Batman books? I might still have my Batman books, but I sold everything else off. I had Green Lantern and Flash, and some others, but I think down. All right, take care, Michael. See you later. Okay, I got to check Andy out here.
Kick off this season and save $85.
Oh, is this your other... Oh, this is somebody else's channel. I was going to say, is this your other channel? All right, well, hang on. Let me pause everything just for a second. Except for the guys on the floor. Let's go to Windows. Don't panic, don't panic. It's all black, but we'll be fine. Don't worry, don't worry. I don't know if I can play this where we get echo or not. Bonus feature today, Andy free flighting a jet plane. Oh, that is very cool. But from this point on, you're not controlling it. And nosedive. Well, that was cool. So is that a CO2 cartridge or something else? So, Andy, so what you do is you build it and then you kind of preset the wings or the, you know, the various wings, the ailerons or something, so that it will do a specific pattern and then land. Because otherwise that could be one... That could be one dangerous hobby. Launch that plane up and it just keeps going, or somebody's not looking and right in the head. But, so you set the wings in a certain way. You talked about trimming it, so it'll do a certain pattern. It'll go so far and then slowly bank, and it could either do a loop-to-loop and then bank or what have you. Okay. That's cool. Very cool. Hey, Joyce! Sorry. No, you are not getting another hobby. Couldn't do that here. There's trees everywhere. "15 seconds of power, then 160 millinewtons, then got at 160 millinewtons, and then glide." But again, do you preset sort of a basic routine it's going to do, or it literally is you just throw it and however it goes? The trees are your enemy. Yeah, nothing but trees in our neighborhood. I've tried to fly a kite with my kids and my grandson. It's just not easy. I bought a kite this past spring. I took my grandson out once to fly the kite, and the wind was blowing really hard, and then it would stop, crash, blowing really hard, then stop. No aircraft are tree friendly. That's very true. Or no trees are aircraft friendly. Okay. Pretty wild. Pretty wild. What did we do? Now, speaking of rocket power, I don't know if I've shared this story before on this channel or not. When I was in high school, I had a classmate, Ray Swiskowski. Now, Ray was bright because you had to pass an academic test to get into my high school. But once he got there, he really didn't apply himself. But he was a bit of a science nerd, science geek, technology nerd, technology geek. We're talking 1980, 1981. All right, George. Well, thanks for hanging out with us. Good morning, Artie. How are you, sir? But anyhow, Ray Swiskowski was a kid that was bored. His parents had too much money, and he had too much evil genius in him. Now, Ray was a good friend of my very good friend, Mark, one of the guys I hung around with in high school, Mark Mokry. But Ray decided to build a rocket. Now, I'm not talking one of those rockets about this tall with a CO2 cartridge. I'm talking it was about 4 foot tall. It looked like a frickin' B-1. And he got the stuff. And his goal was to launch it and see how high he could get it. Yeah, he's not thinking airspace and all this other crap. He's just gonna, he lives out in the country. He's not worried about anything. All right, Martin, Sir Martin, thank you for hanging out with us. So anyhow, Ray decided to test launch his rocket. And we all went to watch it. So Ray brings it out to the backyard. And there's his large yard property. They're out in the country, almost like a farming community, but they do have a neighbor that's kind of close. Their garage is kind of close, but he's got it all checked out. Everything's safe. He launches the rocket. It goes 100, 200 feet in the air at least. And then, uh-oh. Now, it's supposed to, just like those little CO2 rockets, it's supposed to pop and parachute come out. It did not burn through all its fuel. It went up somewhere between 150, 200 feet, and then did a perfect arc. And like a homing pigeon, the only building it could have hit was the neighbor's garage. A little one-car garage, you know, like an oversized shed, but a little one-car garage. And coming down right through the roof. And then there felt like there was about 5 seconds of silence. Which probably was more like 1 second, but it felt like 5. And then, phoom, and the neighbor's garage just went 4 walls, phoom, 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 and roofed down on top. It blew the 4 walls out. Needless to say, I and a couple of my friends got into our cars and disappeared really quickly. Ray's dad had to pay for everything else. Wow. In the 1890s, that would have been porn. You walked in front of this camera with your ankle showing.
Oh. I see.
So let's get your camera set up here. Where are we? Come on, where are you? Doobie-doobie-doo. The mic is acting weird. It all of a sudden just exploded in volume and broke the eardrums of several people.
That's not nice.
I don't know what the hell happened, but something happened. And it's all tangled up on my other cord here. I hate when these happen. Alright, let's get this camera. Doo-doo-doo. Yep, Joyce is so excited to be here, she's on her phone.
I put your
I
YouTube.
know you did.
Boy.
But if I can't...
Alright, guys. Hi, Leslie. First of all, hi to everybody. Hi, Tom. Hi, Colin. Hi, Bailey. Hi, Andy. Hi, Choberton. Hi, Raymond. Hi, Mick. Thank you.
Hi, Mick. You kind of
Hi,
went...
Ellen. Hello, Mr. Artie. Dino!
I'm such a numbskull.
I got my hair done. It's very straight.
She got a haircut. Nope, she got them all cut.
And she brushes it out when she cuts it, so it's very straight, flat. If I wash it tomorrow, it'll go back to its normal curly self.
Actually, it's very curly right here.
Okay.
So, I've been talked into, you can blame Hot Dog Pilot Andy, I've been talked into getting into either radio-controlled planes or what they call free flighting, where you just launch light the rocket, and let it go, and then
Why?
in a big open field. Why not?
You don't need a new hobby. Andy, not guilty. So,
Anyway, what's up?
so far you look pretty red.
It's not really red. Oh, the ICE3 acting up.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Oh, that's not good.
I'm
Yeah,
now pleading the
That's a good
fifth.
reason.
Hey, wait a minute. You're British. You can't plead the fifth.
Use that phrase there too?
Hey, World War II
Anthony
rebel, how are
predicted
you?
that response, did he? Oh, we do know each other pretty well. That's the truth.
Indeed. Besides, I've got a war game I want to buy.
Oh, buddy.
That 30 Years War one that I wanted 40 years ago. And
Yeah, but you don't know where to play it.
yeah, dude, those play on desktops. I got desk.
Okay.
You heard it, folks. She said okay.
Well, it was a resigned sigh. Okay.
A sigh of
Okay,
resignation.
Rest in peace, ICE3. Is it that bad?
It's, I don't know. I think maybe that wire is coming loose. It's
Okay.
going and then slows down. The lights flicker and then it goes again and slows down. So I think as
Okay.
it's bouncing, that wire's coming loose. You know, the one I soldered.
Yeah. Okay. So you can just resolder it.
So I'm hoping
Hi, Steve.
I'm hoping that's the case.
Signed, Penniless of Jerkwater, UK. Gotcha.
Yeah. See, this is a big game. This I can't even fit this on the card table.
So Leslie said in some parts you were telt. Is that right? Tell it?
I was telt. I'm not getting that. I'm
To
sorry.
explain, Leslie. Didn't want to ignore that, Hi, John. Buddy.
Oh, what do you say now?
The most important of all of Anthony's hobbies.
Oh, you have no idea.
Behave. Told. Ah, for example, told?
I was told.
Now we gotta get back.
Yeah, he's referring to
Oh,
the...
yeah, the back sense. Okay. Gotcha. Okay.
Told.
It's
I
slow
love
on
this
the
game when I
uptake.
had it. It was $14. I had to get it back.
Did you sell it?
Yeah, I had it and sold it. I bought it for $18 in
I think after you
1984.
sell something, you're not allowed to buy it again.
Well, apparently I am because I did.
Dang. Well, it was a surprise to me.
I bought it in 1984 for $18. I sold it for $12, $13 around the year 2000. Whenever I sold a bunch of those off, if you remember, I took them over to that UT
Yeah,
swap.
I know.
I sold it for about 12 or so bucks. So I paid $2 more to get it back. Who knows? It might have been the copy I had.
Yeah, really could be.
What are the odds?
Right. Oh, boy.
I don't hint anything, Jean Ricard. I just make comments and let your mind run wherever you want to let it run. If you've got a dirty little mind, then that's your issue. My other hobbies are writing. Except I don't do that anymore either. Well, I do write the parody songs. And then when I do write Matt Clark.
Yep.
Every time I sit down lately and start thinking I'm going to start writing the Matt Clark European thing, my brain says, I really, really ended that series. And not
Okay.
that I don't want to write it, but my brain says, you created this situation. It can't carry over.
Yes, I can.
There was a famous guy from Wollongong named Lawrence Hargraves that made the first boxed kite glider he flew.
Oh. So you're saying the Wright brothers stole his ideas?
No, because hinting would be I'm confirming it's a hobby and that I only hint at it. I'm saying I just make goofy comments and suggestions and let your minds wander. Well, no, I actually have 2 more Matt Clark series that I'm bouncing around in the head.
And
I've got
definitely
series
really
4 and
wants to
series
take 'em
5.
away.
I don't know if over the winter I will start writing. I don't know when. But the one I've already told everybody, it's Matt Clark
Crap, stuck in my teeth.
in Europe.
Right.
And I'm just trying to think the best jokes, because I want them to be in the UK, but really I was thinking that Matt Clark was going to be on some sort of Orient Express. But since there's no channel, so I have a couple of jokes for them being in the UK, but to do the story I want to do, it's all on a train. It's all on a train, and that's very hard because I need to have all the open things.
And he's still a little stuck on
Too late. I've already incriminated you, Andy. I'm going to blame you.
Okay,
Joyce
then.
won't believe me, so you're fine. But I was going to blame you.
Yeah, it's people can lead you, but they don't have to make you do stuff.
Oh, yeah, paint fumes. The effects of paint fumes. Understand that.
Sure do.
When you're a hobbyer, paint fumes and certain glues.
You're a Heath?
Great, you're now a Heath. Oh, blame Heath.
Ah, gotcha. I was trying to think what of Heath. What reference were we going there?
I don't know. Heath changed his day, and I don't watch his stream anymore because that's one of the nights I've always set aside for no YouTube.
Okay. Didn't know you had a no YouTube day.
Tuesdays and Wednesdays.
Okay.
Where I don't go.
noticed that.
Well, I don't go into live streams because Tuesday was. Now Hi hasn't done it too. Now Hi announced that he wasn't going to do live streams again until September at the earliest.
Okay. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, people froze. How are you doing?
Everything here says good.
Looks good on our end. Spinning ball of doom. It's not spinning here, but I guess give it a minute. It's gone, but it's buffering. Yuck.
Wow, I'm not getting any buffering on my replays. Nothing's coming up on my OBS.
Yeah, that's saying the thing's
And
good.
Joyce is watching it on
I'm watching it on a different
computer.
one and on my phone, and it's not.
Is it a UK thing?
Yeah, Artie says it's been okay. Yeah, I think it might be you guys. Because this hasn't lost anything. Okay, you left and come back. Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. That's weird. Well, we should change this one.
Yeah, because you're on.
Oh, good.
Yeah, we're not getting any buffering. I wonder if that's
Yeah.
on a YouTube end because our replay
Yeah.
here that Joyce is watching, my computer here and my replay are all saying good.
and then froze again. Yeah, it's not freezing here.
If it were my internet, I would be
Right.
getting the message
Yeah,
there.
you get the message there, and nothing's freezing here.
And you would be seeing it,
And
yeah.
nothing's freezing on my phone.
Yeah, so on your phone it's not freezing.
So it's not from us. Starliner going over. Stop, start. Okay.
So is it a European? Well, no, Steve. Steve's on the West Coast, or Steve 87. I don't even know if they can hear me. Are you back home in Seattle or environs?
Yeah.
Da, 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 da. Yeah, I'm not getting anything. My replay is good,
Mhm. Yeah, my phone is good and the computer's good. So
and both computers are good.
it ain't us.
Yeah,
So he says, "Yep, he's back home. Left and came back, and it's fine."
I don't know. Everybody watching Reboot, see if it straightens out.
Okay.
Maybe YouTube did a reset or something. But again, ours would have done that too. But yeah, we went from 35 viewers down to 22, so we lost a few.
Jean, it's the stillest he's ever seen Joyce. Yeah, it is what it is. Oh man, that's weird. Usually we all go out together.
Yeah.
You mentioned this Thomas, Wagon. Huh. Yeah.
Well, Steve was on the West Coast, and he... Because, yeah, normally I would get...
Hi, Randall.
Because I've got 3 different things that give me feedback on the
Right,
screen.
Right.
Not to mention, Joyce is watching on a totally separate computer that is on a different Wi-Fi than this.
Oh, did you put it on now?
Yep.
We gotta change this one.
So, yeah. So this
Okay.
this is on a totally different
Yeah, but it's
Wi-Fi, and it's
confusing.
never blipped. All my readings on here never blipped. My replay through YouTube is fine. My replay on OBS is fine. So I don't know what happened, and Artie down in Australia says he didn't lose anything. I don't know. Maybe satellite got blown up.
Yeah.
But it's not us. It's not my cable. It's not us.
Anyway, I found out what Tractor Mommy is, and it's not what I thought it was.
Okay, what is it?
Pissed off mommy people.
Oh, because of all the construction.
No.
Oh.
Do you want me to explain it now?
Yeah, sure. Or
no,
is it
has-
political?
Not terribly.
Okay, then go
It
ahead.
has to do with the lines, the sewer lines from your house to the street.
Yeah.
You're responsible for.
Right.
Which I think it's that way in Toledo too.
Right.
The problem is
Yeah.
if you try to sell your house, it has to be inspected. And if there's any leaks or anything in it, you have to fix it. And it's a $30,000 to $50,000 job. So we're trapped in Maumee because,
Because mommy's, yeah.
yeah. So they have since...
Toledo, you don't have to have an inspection before you sell the house. But,
No,
well,
you don't.
Mommy is...
Yeah. So it is upset quite a few people. Blazing hot outside. We're pretty warm and humid today after being a little cooler and drier. Next week's forecast was supposed to be 90s and humid, and then a couple days ago they said, oh, nope, it isn't. Cold front's coming through, and it's going to be very cool. Cool enough we can turn off our air conditioning upstairs. Have you seen Lindy?
No, I have not seen Lindy.
They say they were doing something this weekend.
I don't remember.
And I know she had a few things that she had scheduled.
Yeah. Oh, definitely, Leslie. It goes through a bunch of servers, you know, some for international distribution, et cetera, et cetera.
Oh, wow. That's
So-
unbearable, Randall. And it's humid, isn't it? Oh, yuck. You probably don't need the rain. Is that right, Artie? But still, that's kind of frustrating when it does that and it doesn't rain. Oh, cool. That makes sense.
Fortunately, my train show's in March. Fortunately, my train show is in March.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I still have to try to save funds for the Getz show.
I gotta figure out if
Yeah,
I can take a half-day sick day for the flight. I don't know the dates. You need to give them to me so I can get my personal days in and.
You don't
talk to
know the
Judy.
dates.
It's October.
I tell you over and over and
Probably
over.
the second week of October.
I've even bought the tickets. You better know the days.
Why would I know the days? You bought the ticket.
Because I told you it's these days.
I know, but
Because I
don't
tried
remember.
to talk you into flying out on Wednesday,
Yes.
and you said
and
no.
I said no. I did
You
say
said,
no. I don't get
I
3
can't do
days.
it. I can't take that many days off. I want to save my sick days.
Come over and fit it in. Fit what in?
Uh-oh. Can come over and fill in.
Oh, okay. I guess
No, Artie, you're not filling in
you
for
can't
Joyce.
fill in because
I'm not that kinky.
You're likely to take some trains with you, so
Well, I'm
I don't
honored.
think we can.
Well, I'm honored you find me attractive. I'm not that kinky.
Yeah. Oh, it's horrible. That is. I don't like that much heat. It's terrible. What you looking for?
I want to get to the mail so I can tell you.
'Cause you don't know the dates.
I was going to tell you the flight time.
You give me the hard time. Yeah, it's like at 5 or something. Look at you with no emails.
Because I delete them.
I know you are.
All right. We are leaving at... We're leaving Detroit at 6:10 on Thursday, October 10th.
All right.
And we arrive at 6:45 a.m. on Friday, October 11th.
I really didn't mean to X that out, so I didn't. All right, let me put on my calendar.
And we come back, so we leave Thursday the 10th.
Okay, October 10th.
Yes, October 10th.
Flight at. Oh, they're gonna hate me. That's our 100 day. Oh well, I'm not participating. What time's the flight?
The 100-year anniversary.
Yeah,
It figures.
yeah, it does.
Everything you're connected to, whether it's your family
I
or your
have
job,
had a
every time I book something
conflict.
special, you have a conflict.
No, I've had a conflict all summer. I keep having something run in. So what time's the flight?
6:10 p.m. 1800 hours.
Oh, I can't even put it in. It's not letting me add. You will do the 100th celebration. You can do nothing else.
What's that?
I can't put it in. If I try to go for the 6:10 time, it just won't separate it.
No, you can't. Because
So-
you got that.
It is blocked off.
Yep.
So, okay then. What is that? Dyslexia. So, oh well, you know, I was on a committee, but then I don't seem to be on a committee. So,
Oh, you're going to teach for Joyce. That's what you meant, stand in and teach.
oh, you're gonna teach? You probably
Sorry,
could.
we're ignoring you all while we argued about this.
Oh, yeah. It's terrible. Yeah, you probably could. You gotta get hired in, but
Are you kidding? Those kids would probably traumatize Artie.
they might. I don't know. I had so much positive yesterday, but not everything's positive. Go away. Back of that reader. Yeah. Anyway, we've been off the chat here for a little bit.
He designed the
He already
Abbey
got
Road
one of his
brochure.
packages he missed while you guys were away last weekend. Huh.
He's looking at your shirt.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I was just trying to catch up what we missed.
No, we signed a wall and then something else. Actually signed it near when we were at Abbey Road, remember?
Oh, yeah, we did. Had to buy a marker. We
Yep.
don't usually travel with one.
Don't know what happened to that Abbey Road marker. Bought a pen and a marker.
Mm-hmm.
I thought they made it home. I haven't seen it since we got back home.
Mm-hmm. They do them good.
And the
They
Australian
would all
Danish
be
War
like,
just
wait,
began.
what? What did he say? Huh? What did he say? He wouldn't understand your accent. I'd say would be a
Alright,
treat.
you little shark biscuit, sit down.
Yeah.
I heard he has another 2 packages coming that Joyce does not know about. No, Joyce always knows when my package is coming.
Buddy.
I'm talking the mail.
Of course you are. I have name tags coming on Sunday. That means I have to do them Sunday night.
Your name tags?
Yeah. Well, I went to do my name tags and realized, ooh, I only have like 12.
Oops.
And I have 28, so
28 kids.
28, 26 on the other one.
Yeah.
Speech teacher is a regular desk I can take. But I thought I'd wait and see just in case something shows up on
Nothing.
Monday.
Nothing, John Ricard. I wouldn't be talking about anything else. I can't help it. Some people have dirty minds.
I know it when Anthony spends money, so as I balance the checkbook.
Anthony, what'd you spend $79 on?
What are you getting at eBay? You've got like 4 charges here.
Well, I bought a little bit of this and a little bit of that. I look at something and go, what's a boggin? And I buy it. I like to think I'm saving money because I wouldn't buy it unless it were that cheap. I fit 2 new houses in that
think
little
so.
part of Delmenhorst.
I don't know. I think you just need to finish the Mallard car system, let it go as it is, and don't worry about stopping.
That's fine. I still
And-
need help with a couple of things.
Okay.
I need to lay that tape, the road tape.
Right.
And then I got to figure out how to make a damn curve out of it.
Right.
And then I got to figure out how to cover it on the part that doesn't have line
maybe
street.
talk to Miss Lindy, who is artistic and might have a better idea how to do it. She knows you a little bit for all the babysitting you do.
Not easily, Jean. Unfortunately, I really can't show them. Let me see. Can we go to the overhead?
Like Hagrid. Well, you can see who's Anthony's close friends here are.
Let me see. Village View.
It was
Let's
called
see.
you Antony.
Anthony.
Antony.
That's what they call me in the UK. Anthony.
Yep. And so did,
So this one's new.
Steam.
This one's new. And the one next to it is new. So this one and this one. These are the two new buildings I got. Slap them together, put them on. Dude, I'm so far gone, I've circled back and started all over again. But yeah, these are the two new
okay,
buildings.
is what it is.
So you're only getting the back, you're only going to get the backside view. So you can, are you going to do your rendition of my new song and see if you can sing it? There is a house in New Orleans they call the rising sun. It's been the ruin. Ooh, Mick did some more Palestine, yippee, with two angry faces.
Right. Good for you.
Well, maybe,
Mick.
maybe do the Palestine and then drink the beers. It might make it go a little smoother.
Right.
Now, here's the problem when you're reading comments. This is a danger when you're reading comments. There were quite a few people who commented on that last song I did. They're saying, wow, that's a great shot.
Right.
And I don't know if they are trying to be funny because they don't leave the emoji saying I'm being funny. Or did they really think that was all videotaped in one shot? Even though prices were in euros, pounds, and dollars. That was like 8 different shops that I spliced together to try to make it like it was one big model train shop. Well, I'll have to decide because if I get the 103, then I'm probably going to get the Rheingold edition and just get the whole Rheingold set.
Let's do freshens tonight.
Okay. All right, you win. Twist my arm.
I win. I didn't
Yeah, I
know
was
there
thinking
was a
pizza,
contest.
but we can always do pizza tomorrow.
Yeah.
There is the shop in
First
my
to know the
hometown.
pain. Well, but you look like you're in pain, Mick.
You don't need to, trying to save my marriage. Well, I appreciate that, Artie, but knock on wood. That's code, you know.
Buddy. Oh, he's incorrigible.
The TAA set, yes, the TEE Rheingold. There's a special edition of the TEE that was called the Rheingold, the Trans-Europe Express. But yeah, that thing. But I've got too many other trains that are coming the second half of this year.
It's doing pretty well. cat scratches.
But see, Artie, you can't lie about this because even if I paid for it with a money order, that means I had to take money out of the bank to do it.
Yeah, I
and
recognize it.
Miss Scottish lady here, the frugal Frau.
Right.
That's it. You got a new channel, the frugal Frau. The frugal Frau.
Now there would be expectations with a channel like that.
The frugal Frau.
Here's how you.
Here's how you keep your husband from spending too much money.
Oh man.
The minute the money's out of the bank, she knows.
Yep. But those are blue.
I'd have to
gays, so
secretly
hopefully
start
it's usually
earning
red
money
gays.
and create a separate bank account that she would know nothing about, except she also gets the mail. So when she starts seeing this other bank coming in with, who deals with this bank?
Right.
Nothing, honey. That's junk mail. Here, I'll rip it up for you.
Hiding the cash in the money train on the layout.
I can't hide the cash. All our money goes into one pool, and she's the lifeguard. Not the most effective one, considering how much crap I buy, but still.
Oh,
And the thing is, I'm always encouraging her. She's like, oh, I'd like to get this. Oh, go buy you one. I don't want to spend that much money on it. Buy you one. She says, but if I did buy me one of us has to be frugal.
Right. Isn't that the truth? That sounds very sensible.
Jean Ricard.
I don't know why that hasn't healed. It's smooth.
You're permanently scarred there, dear. Those are your boo-boos from your tennis ball, aren't
It
they?
is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, a month and a half later.
And yeah, the skin's over it.
Speaking of tennis, that was one hell of a match yesterday.
It sure was.
Or
and
not
it was
yesterday,
2
it
days
was
ago.
Wednesday.
It was one heck of a match. It was exhausting.
Exactly, Chris. But of course, I've done so many songs, you know, all my parody songs try to tap into the mythos, the typical issues of being in a model train. So the digital versus analog debate, the cost, the spending, the addiction part of it,
The barefoot Joyce?
the barefoot Joyce.
And not, so I'm really confused.
She just showed her ankles when she walked through, but she had her shoes on.
Yeah. she's, Anthony leaves his legs out.
No, but Kyan does. No, we usually pick them up. Oh, anytime somebody mentions Legos or stepping on Lego, I always think of that shark meme. When a shark steps on a Lego and it's a great white coming out of the water.
That is fun. All right.
Oh, it's getting down to that time.
Yeah, it is.
I forgot you came down a little bit later.
Digital killed the analog train. Who did that one?
Digital killed the analog
he
guy.
seems to have gone pretty well, I think. Now he's on Monday through Thursday, so he was off today.
Oh, is he only Monday through Thursday?
Mhm.
Oh, I thought he was 5 days a week.
Nope.
Okay,
So
well,
he,
there I go, wrong again.
but he's announced he doesn't like the food, but he has to wash his own plate. I think that's great. And
Yep.
Joy shows her ankle. You'll have to go to Whitechapel again. Oh my! I don't have exciting ankles. Whoops! I took off another one.
My Railjet, Artie. My Railjet. Done and done.
Okay, we're on our way. Whew,
Your poor feet, though.
my poor feet.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could
You're
give
showing
me-
off ankles, but you're not going to show off feet
You
because
could give me a rub tonight.
I could.
You could.
You could give me one.
Pixie and Stuart loved Joyce's ankles. You still got Stuart, huh? How did Pixie love my ankles?
Oh, walking around his house.
Yeah, I know. Like, what did she do?
She just liked you, Joyce. Pixie
Yeah.
liked you.
Did she like? She nipping them? I think she was nipping them.
But yeah, that's so we're going to Frisch's, are we?
yeah, why not?
All right, Frisch's it is.
Oh,
Yippee
kick us and
yahoo
go in.
kai yippee. All right, well anyhow, guys, let's get to the correct camera and do that.
Stuart's gone.
Oh,
okay.
Stu's gone.
That's probably better for you.
Cat got him. Well, son, there's this model train called a Railjet. Let's face it, a war between the United States and Australia not going to last long. There's not even going to be enough. There's not even going to be enough people left over to do a Mad Max.
Oh,
He's
that's
alive,
awful.
gone to a new home. Okay. All right. Anyhow,
okay.
so we got to get going to dinner. So thank you once again for spending your Friday with us here.
Absolutely.
We are always pleased and honored. Thank you very much, as always.
Yep.
So until the next live stream or wherever we see you next, we're going to say Auf Wiedersehen
Choose.
and happy trains. Take care, everybody.
Bye.